This is Think Tech Hawaii. Community matters here.
Aloha and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pauline Shekmakchin, your host for We Like the 1%. We Like the 1% is a show about individuals and entrepreneurs. And today we're going to be following the entrepreneurial journey of Petter Morck, the founder of the beauty company Arbonne. My guest today, joining us via Skype from California, is the founder's son, Stian Morck, who is managing director of Arbonne International. Hi, Stian.
Hi, Pauline. How are you?
Very well. Aloha. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it, and just good to be here.
Thank you. And now, before we get to your father's story, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, of course, Pauline. Let me see. Where do I begin? I am originally born and raised in Norway. I left Norway at the age of 16. I went to high school in the UK, and I came to the US in my late teens. And I studied in San Francisco, at the University of San Francisco, for about 5 years, and got my couple of degrees there, and started to work in Arbonne in 1989, and moved with that to Orange County, Southern California, beautiful, sunny Southern California.
Indeed.
Where my work, and we're eventually married, and kids, and cats and dogs, and you know what. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I've been with Arbonne for close to 30 years, and I have grown kids, pretty grown kids by now. Mm-hmm. I love it here in Southern California because it's just beautiful climate, good people. I love the outdoors. I love the ocean. I love the mountains. And here in Southern California, in the right time of year, you can swim, and 2 hours later you can be skiing in the mountains. So it's one of those things. I love it very much. And so Arbonne has been a big part of my life, and exciting journey in Arbonne for the past almost 30 years. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell right there.
And Stian, do you still have family in Norway? Do you still commute to Norway?
Yeah, so in fact, we just had holidays. My mother was here in California, so this time of year everyone loves to come to California because it's nicer and warmer than back in Norway. But yes, I have a mother who was here. I have a sister and a brother who's back in Norway as well as kids and all kinds of things. So siblings and friends and family, and I thankfully get to go over once or twice a year, and I bring my family and try to give them the heritage, and try to establish some roots for them in Norway. I have my daughter lives there full time, so we are connected, well connected, California and Norway for sure.
That's wonderful, and you're right. It's not so easy to go to the beach in Norway. I've been there one time. Oslo is a beautiful city. I haven't been to Trondheim yet, but I did go to your summer resort. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Is it Kragerø?
Kragerø, yes. That's Kragerø. The beautiful part of Norway, southern part.
Yes. My ancestors.
Beautiful in the summertime. Yes, well, also winter, but it's cold.
It's known as a summer resort in Norway. And it's fairly quiet throughout the year, except during the summer when it gets quite crowded, actually. Very popular.
Very, very crowded. Lots of boats and everything. Lots of people.
It's a shipbuilding city, yes. So now we're going to focus on Arbonne, the company that your father founded. And let's just talk about your father, because he sounds like he has a fascinating journey in establishing this company. So can we start off with a little bit how your father came from Norway all the way here to Southern California?
Yeah, so that is a very fascinating story, and I could spend hours. I know we don't have time for that, but he basically was born at the very beginning of the Second World War, and so he grew up in that time in Norway, and as was common in Norway in those days, the young men were often didn't have much opportunity, so he became a sailor, and it became a part of the sort of the Norwegian Merchant Marine. So actually at the age of 15, so he had a mother, a single mom raised him, and 2 siblings. And at the age of 15, he left Norway and became a sailor. And for 10 years, those very formative years of 15 to 25, he was actually out in the big wide world. You know, whatever you do when you're that age, out in the big world in the 50s and the 60s, and spent about 5 years in Australia. And the stories that he told me of those days, I will never forget. But very interesting, very sort of how do I say, broad and diverse experiences that he had.
Can you tell one very good story?
Well, you know, he was so in Australia. He did all kinds of things. He lived out in the bush, and he was, you know, he would sell shells at the beach, and he would work. He bumped into a fellow Norwegian that sort of took care of him, I think, because I think my father wasn't really good at taking care of himself back in those days. But you know, interesting stories how he jumped ship without the passport in the Philippines, and oh, you know, you name it, it happened. But he saw the good and he saw the bad, and I think that really shaped him a lot. I think that when he eventually came back to Norway, aged around 25, I think he was driven to kind of make his mark and really establish something and create a legacy. And so he was an entrepreneur, always was, started many businesses. In Norway, there's conscription, so usually at the age of 18 you go to the military and spend a year there. He was traveling when that happened, and came to the military and was 25, and he told me stories there, what kind of like business ventures he did there. But he was always buying and selling and starting businesses, and you know, basically got into the beauty space in the 60s, and started a business, the very successful business in the direct selling channel in Norway in the 60s that he was engaged with for many years.
And Stian, why did he select beauty as the sector to do his enterprise in?
Well, so I think in some ways it sort of happened by accident. So he was, you know, involved in many different kind of businesses, and he was employed as a sales manager for a company that manufactured skincare and cosmetic products in Norway, and he was responsible for getting these products and you know, getting new business and so on, getting products out in the marketplace. In Norway in those days was a small, poor country, and when he saw these products come across the line, that you know, some products caught his attention, and he was able to contact the people that had started this business that he actually eventually then started in Norway. So it was sort of by accident in a way that he was just engaged in a sales management position, and you know how one door opens and more door opens, and that's kind of so sort of by accident. But and for him it was interesting because he was always very much involved with, I don't know, just, you know, he liked products and consumable products, and these were products that piqued his interest, and he was, you know, pretty quickly he discovered that there may be a better way to make products than how they were being made back in the 60s with a kind of ingredients and so on that was commonplace back in those days. So he pretty much immediately started to explore ways to make products more natural, more botanically based, which became essentially the foundation of Arbonne. That's why Arbonne started, because he created products that were different and better in his mind than what existed in the marketplace in the 60s and the 70s.
And the primary product lines associated with Arbonne are skincare, nutrition, personal care, and cosmetics. Is that correct?
That's correct. So back in the early days, it was just skincare really, and then small line of makeup. But really, essentially, we're, you know, skincare company, and it's more recently, I'd say in the last 10 years or so, that we have really embraced nutrition, and our community has really embraced the nutrition side as well. So now our big focus is the inside and outside, health and wellness from inside out, if you like. So it's more of a comprehensive overall approach to the product line.
And these products have very good characteristics associated with them. A lot of them are vegan certified. They are cruelty-free, which is important to a lot of consumers of these types of skincare products. So it's quite a great endeavor. So can you tell us a little bit about your father as a boss?
Well, he was a great father, and I have lots of good memories with him as a father. As a boss, he was driven. Oh, I can tell you that the years that we worked together, there was nonstop Arbonne. It was breakfast, lunch, and dinner, really. And but that's what I wanted as well, and that's what everyone around him wanted. And they wanted to be part of that energy and that passion that he had. And he shared that with people, and people that were able to hang on and keep up. It was an amazing experience. But he was
tough.
He had high expectations of people, for sure.
These are always the most excellent types of bosses because they have very high standards and they have a vision. And as you said, people have to keep up because it's like Mackenzie, you're up or out, right? Is that how it was with Peter?
Yeah, I think so. I think he appreciated people bringing different strengths to the table, to the business. But he really, if he sort of didn't really think that you brought something of value to the table, then I don't think that he really cared that much. So he was always seeking to enhance and bring, people that could bring value to the table and to the business, in one way or another. So it was sometimes the people that he embraced weren't the obvious candidates always. There were people that, would think for themselves and have different ideas. And would bring something maybe surprising to the table. So he was surrounded by a lot of really good people that brought, was a very interesting and entertaining group of people always. Very creative, very fun.
How would you categorize his leadership style or management style? So he was approachable. You mentioned he's approachable. Oh yeah,
very much so. He was very, very approachable, and he really. He was, and maybe this was because of his own journey, but he was very interested and very curious about people and really wanted to get deeply under the skin of people. And he would spend, more time than maybe you would expect with somewhat of an ordinary person because it caught his interest. And he would learn from everybody. It didn't have to be a very important or in sort of an important person necessarily for him to really be engaged. It could be, more of a normal person, and he would find things with his people that was outstanding or special.
And did he start off with a very large team of advisors, that sort of thing, or was he basically at that time? Yeah, at that time, this was 37 years ago. Is that correct? So
yeah, so definitely. I mean, the industry is a small industry. That the direct selling industry, as well as the the skincare and the cosmetic industry is not. I mean, it's giant, but there's a few key players, and I think that in those early years. He made a lot of friends and a lot of connections. So he had a really good support team around him, not necessarily of professional advisors. I would say more of just people that liked him and that wanted to support him. And it was through those connections, those friends, if you like, I think that helped push him forward and help him create those initial products and that initial, to help him define sort of the vision around the product and the opportunity, but obviously, and as we launched, we were a tiny company. But over the years, and one of the beauties of our model is that essentially we're a people business, and you'll only succeed when you're able to surround yourself with really clever, smart people that can help build or grow your vision. So
okay, Stian, that's great. We'll get more into how the business model, how the corporate structure is of Arbonne after we take this quick break. So we'll be right back after we take this break.
Hi, I'm Petter Morck, and every Monday at 1 o'clock I present Think Tech Hawaii's Research in Manoa, where we bring together researchers from across the campus to describe a whole series of scientifically interesting topics of interest both to Hawaii and around the world. So hopefully you can join me 1 o'clock Monday afternoon for Think Tech Hawaii's Research in Manoa.
Aloha, I'm Winston Welch, and every other Monday at 3 p.m. you can join me at Out and About, a show where we explore a variety of topics, organizations, events, and the people who fuel them in our city, state, country, and world. So please join us every other Monday at 3, and we'll see you then. Aloha.
Aloha everyone and welcome back. We're speaking with Stian Morck of Arbonne International. So Stian, we're going to now discuss a little bit about the corporate structure of Arbonne, because there are sometimes some misunderstandings with this type of a company. And they used to be referred to more as MLMs, or multi-level marketing companies. And it's more appropriate to call them network marketing companies. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I think what we refer to ourselves as social marketing companies. So you know, it's really we're a direct sales company, which simply means that you can't really buy our products in any fixed retail location. We market our products directly from the consultant, from our consultant, directly to the end user. Which, you know, this is a business model that's been in existence for forever. It's like the oldest business model.
It's referred to as the Tupperware model, and companies.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, there's many different actors and many different companies in our space, but you know, that's essentially what it is. It's a you know, and the way that we compensate our sales force is really. It's unique to Arbonne, but you know, our consultants are independent contractors. They're not employees, and they are out there because they love to be part of Arbonne. They all love our products, and they all love to share the opportunity that goes along with the product that we have. So, you know, in some ways, they are volunteers out there building their own businesses, and to whatever extent and whatever time they want to put into it, they can do. So we have people that are very, very part-time, and then we have some consultants that work this full-time like a business and make good incomes.
And as far as social network marketing companies go, there are many of them. People can research this online, but Arbonne is one of the few that has a very good reputation. And what you find is a lot of the products from these companies focus on the female market. Most of them are around skincare, cosmetics. Arbonne is slightly unusual. You have a broader product range in that you have a male product line. And you don't have as many male independent consultants, but my father is one. So my father is a dental surgeon, and he's been in practice for 45 years, and he endorses the fluoride-free toothpaste that is one of the products under the personal care line. And as you mentioned, these are products that are not sold in stores, so you need to know a current consultant, because in order to place the product, you need to input a certain ID number for a consultant. So in this example, for any viewers and listeners watching here in Hawaii or elsewhere, as an example, my father's consultant number is 241-77302, and you would input that when you visit the Arbonne International website and pick the country that you're in. And it is a transnational or transregional type of system, so even if the person wants to purchase something in Australia, it doesn't matter that my father is in California. So that's a fairly accurate representation. Stian?
That's correct. That's correct. So one of the, you know, our business is really only as good as the business of our consultants, and so everything we do, our role is simple, really. We make a really good product, and we make sure that we do a lot of the heavy lifting that a normal business person would have to do in her business. So we take care of the product. We'll take the order. We'll ship the order. We'll provide reporting and marketing materials and training and collateral. So you, the independent consultant, can actually go out there and share the product and tell the story and bring people into the business if that's what you want to do. So we try to keep it very simple and duplicatable, so so it'll grow. And that's our business model. It works great. Every single sale that come into the company goes back out to the field one way or another. So in the case you just mentioned, if someone just wants to go to arbonne.com, they can place an order, but that the commission for that order will be assigned to someone out in the field, wherever the nearest consultant is, based on some algorithm. But it's our job is to make sure that our consultants have good businesses, and so that makes it kind of simple. We are partners, and we want their success.
And you, even though you are headquartered in Irvine, California, you have Arbonne in 7 areas in the world, right, including America. So can you just name the areas?
Yeah, correct. So we're in the United States, we're in Canada, we're in Australia and New Zealand, we are in the UK, and we're in Poland, and most recently we opened up in Taiwan.
Yes.
So those are our markets.
And you have a special product line for Taiwanese clients, such as because skin whiteners are very popular in Asia. So
right.
Yes, so you have a special skincare line.
Absolutely. So we need to for the most part our products are consistent throughout the markets, but we definitely look at a certain market, and if we need to adjust our products or our product offering to that market, we will do that.
And in the Arbonne website, the company is described as being of Swiss heritage. So your father was Norwegian. So can you explain to the listeners and viewers the Swiss connection with Arbonne?
Yeah. So the Swiss connection is, when I talked about the 60s and the 70s and the people that he was surrounded by, that he surrounded himself with. A lot of those people were Swiss, and some of the best laboratories and formulators and so on were Swiss. And there was a meeting in the northern town of Switzerland called Arbonne, Arbonne, on Lake Constance. That I wasn't there, but there were my father and some of his friends and some of his collaborators met there. And that's sort of where Arbonne sort of came to be, if you like. That's where the idea was really finalized. And I think he, in honor of that little town, he named the company Arbonne. So he added an N and an E to make it sound a little better and be a little better. And but that's the story. So the Swiss connection is really our products were originally formulated in Switzerland. And eventually, now our global headquarters and R&D and so on happens here in California. But we leverage, the best people and the best ingredients anywhere in the world where you find them. So we still, we're still, now more of a global company, but our heritage is definitely Swiss.
So you mentioned that the laboratories in the headquarters in Irvine. Can you tell us a little bit about your scientific team?
Right. So we actually have a lab here in Irvine, and we also have a sister company up in Los Angeles, where a lot of R&D is happening. We have a lot of people, scientists that all they do is formulate products and so on. We also have a scientific advisory board made up of several people from different backgrounds that advise us, help us with anything that has to do with product, whether it be skincare or nutrition, just to help us support our mission of bringing the very best products to market.
And you also listen to your consultants. The independent consultant input is taken into account when a new product is being created. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So we get a lot of our inspiration from our field, from our customers, and of course we look at what's happening in the marketplace with what is going to work for us. But absolutely, the field and our end users are a very important part of helping drive our product development efforts.
And approximately how many consultants, independent consultants, are with Arbonne at the moment?
I think we have in the neighborhood of 200,000 consultants.
That's quite a lot, and that's worldwide.
Globally.
Yes.
Worldwide, and approximately, I would say, about 1 million preferred clients.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that would be able to shop with Arbonne at a discount, and our consultants are the people that are able to build a business with Arbonne, build it. They can sponsor and bring in preferred clients and other consultants and build a team as well.
And is Arbonne looking to expand further? I was told that there is a new launch coming up. Is that something you can discuss?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have announced that we are going to be in Germany this year in 2018. The dates have not been announced yet. We're still working out some of those details, but very, very excited about Germany, which is the biggest market in Europe, and I believe the 4th biggest market for us in our space in the world. The Germans are we need to do it very well. So
yes.
We're making sure that we cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
They do everything by the book.
Absolutely. So it's a great opportunity for us, and we're excited about that. And our field in all markets are very excited about the opportunity to go to Germany and share our products and eventually share our opportunity there.
And Stian, we're almost out of time, but can you explain why Arbonne comes to Hawaii every year? You go specifically to Maui, is that correct?
Right. So yeah. Well, thank you because of bringing it all back home.
Yes.
I am in love with the Hawaiian Islands. Been there many, many times. We come there once a year with our very top senior leaders to sort of celebrate the year that passed and to kick off the new year. So we were just in Maui, in Wailea, at a beautiful property there, and launched new products, new tools and trainings, and just as a place for people to get together and network and be together, and it's like, community building, but it's at the leadership level, and we go there to really, because we love the islands and we love to shower our consultants with, the best that there is, and I can't think of a better place than Maui.
Oh yes, you have exquisite taste. This is the best place. All the islands. You have to expand. As you expand your business, you have to come to a lot of the other islands as well. They're all beautiful. Except for, Kaho'olawe and Ni'ihau are a little bit tricky, but the others are all fair games.
We've been there. We love them all. But right now, it just happens to be Maui is the place we go to.
Okay, brilliant, Stian. Thank you so much for joining us here on We Like the 1% on Think Tech Hawaii. And I'll see everybody next Thursday at 11 a.m.